Live now. Are we there yet? We're there. Hello, everybody. Looks like we are now live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And I thought for the topic today, for today's live stream, I believe in keeping positive. I believe that it's nice to follow positive people on social media. And I do. I mean, my favorite spiritual teacher, one of my favorite spiritual teachers of all time was Wayne Dyer. He used to bill himself as, Mr. Positive. Now, I can't get sick because I won't let myself get sick. And man, that thinking will carry you a certain distance in life. But eventually, you can't outrun sickness. You can't outrun disease. You cannot outrun your own physical mortality. And all this stuff, it will kind of build up on you. And what I've found in my own life is the quality of my life really depends on how much positive energy I allow into my life. And also, something that many people tend to overlook, including myself, is how I handle the negative energy in my life. Because no matter how positive you try to be, you can be like, sunshine is always shooting out of every crevice of your body. But if you're not handling the negative energy that comes into your life, that is really going to affect you. And we're all influenced by negative energy. There's negative stuff coming at us all the time. Social media, we see this. Social media sometimes can be a real cesspool of toxic negative energy. And a lot of people will bathe in this cesspool on a daily basis. And if you're on social media, just wrapped up with all the drama, hooked in to all the negativity, that stuff's going to affect you. It's going to affect your belief system. It's going to affect how you see life. It's going to affect how you view yourself, whether or not you have a positive self-image or a negative self-image. So how we handle the negative energy in our life is important. And a lot of people will just ignore, the negativity around them. They'll pretend like it doesn't exist, or they'll deal with it by just choosing not to deal with it. This point was driven home to me last night in a rather interesting teaching dream that I received. And I'm one of those people, I like to listen to my dreams, because what I've noticed is, my dreams will teach me if I'm going through something in this life and maybe not handling something as well as I should be. uh, I'll have a dream that will just show me, okay, this is what's going on in your life in a symbolic sense. And this is how we recommend that you deal with this stuff that's happening in your life. Last night, I had one of those dreams, and in it, I had one of my old college buddies that I hadn't seen in years come running up to me, and we were roommates. And I was walking down the hallway of this big college dormitory, and he was saying, Ralph, come into the bathroom. I got something to show you." And I thought, what does he want to show me in the bathroom? This doesn't make any sense. And I went into the bathroom. I followed him, and he motioned behind the door, and I looked, and he said, "Now bend down and look and tell me what you see." And I bent down and I looked, and there was this toilet under this enclosure, really, and it was overflowing. It was overflowing with you know what. And I mean, it was not a pretty sight. And immediately when I saw that toilet overflowing, in my mind, I saw a schematic of the dormitory, and I saw how the plumbing was organized in that dormitory. Really weird dream. And I saw that, okay, our room that we were in was at the very bottom of that college dormitory. And our toilet was the last toilet that emptied into the septic tank. And so what we had going there, I immediately realized we had a blockage in that septic tank, and we had all the other stuff, all the other sewage from all the other rooms in that dormitory was flowing down on us from the third floor on down to us on the first floor. We were being, just gifted with everybody else's what, and our toilet couldn't handle it because there was a blockage. And I could see exactly where the blockage was. And so I told my roommate, okay, I see the problem. Don't use the toilet anymore. We'll have to go elsewhere, use somebody else's toilet, but we can't really put anything more. We can't flush anything more down this thing until we get this blockage taken care of. And I mean, my next thought was, okay, we got to call the college officials, let them know we got a plumbing problem here, and we need to get this septic tank pumped out. We need to remove that blockage, and then we need to get a good cleaning done in this dormitory room. But I woke up thinking, man, that was a weird dream. But then I immediately thought, okay, what is this trying to teach me? What lesson is there to learn in this dream, this really bizarre and graphic dream that I just had? And it became clear to me, toxic energy, negative energy. We are being showered on a daily basis through the news, through the media, through social media, through your daily life, through the people, the friends and family members that we are all around. We are constantly being bombarded with some sort of negative energy. And if we allow all this negative, toxic energy to build up in us, then yeah, we're going to be like that toilet, just overflowing. We won't have any goodness coming out of us because we will be so full of the KRAP. I know that's not how you spell it, but just love that KRAP. We're going to be so full of that stuff that that's what's going to be emanating from us and flowing from us in everything that we do. And I think, if you think back in your life, you can pinpoint certain people that are just great, great people when it comes to letting all the negative stuff flow out of them. It seems like that's the only thing they contribute to the world, is just a bunch of KRAP negative energy. And I mean, if we're not careful, we can become like that. We can, instead of being positive beacons of hope and awareness in the world, we can just be toxic septic tanks overflowing and bringing that overflow into the world around us. So how we handle negative energy in our life will really have a significant impact in how successful we are, and whether or not, we attract people to us, or whether we just push them away at warp speed. And yeah, if we're not handling negative energy in our life in a good way, we are not setting ourselves up for success. So, what I'd like to share a few ideas. One, on how to get rid of the negative energy that's in your life, and two, how to try to limit the amount of negativity that we expose ourselves to on a daily basis, because I believe that we have a choice, and some people choose to just flood themselves with negative energy. They call it entertainment. But I mean, we can make a choice. We can choose to either expose ourselves to the negative, toxic energy in life, or we can choose to, expose ourselves to more positive things and focus on love and abundance and positivity in our life. And so, on the first note, how do we handle the negative energy that's already in us? Because yes, I firmly believe that we are being bombarded with negative energy on a daily basis. It's like some people, they are just so frustrated. They are just so bombarded by the negativity in their life that they need somebody to vent on. Okay. And sometimes that person is you. When I was a senior pastor at a Christian church, was a senior pastor at that church for 6 years. And I had one lady, God love her, but she was always needing to vent on somebody. And guess who she vented on? It's like, she handled the youth group. She was there at the Bible studies. She was there at the regular Sunday church meetings, got to know me pretty well. And back in those days, I was a pretty patient kind of a pastor. And I felt like I had to be the strong one. Okay. Big mistake there. But I felt like I had to be the strong one. I had to be there for the people in my flock. And she picked up on this. She could sense it. And so every Sunday, every Wednesday, she would be coming at me. Sometimes, other days of the week too. And she just needed somebody to vent on. And she realized this. And she would just be going on and on and on about this, that, and the other thing. Stuff that I had no control over. Stuff that she didn't feel like she had any control over. But she just needed somebody to vent on. And at first, I realized what was going on. At first, I could handle it. At first, I could take it. But I didn't know how to release that toxic energy. I knew how to take it in. I didn't know how to let it out. Because remember, I felt like I had to be the strong one. I didn't have anybody to vent on. And she was coming to vent on me on a very regular basis. And it's after a few weeks of this, actually a few months, I just began to consciously avoid this person. And when I couldn't, it's like she would be venting on me. And then she'd be saying, "Oh, Pastor, thank you. It feels so good to be able to vent this out and get this stuff out." And I would be thinking to myself, yes, I'm glad that you have somebody to vent on. I wish I had somebody to vent on. And I was just setting myself up for ministerial burnout. And not just ministerial burnout. If we try to be the strong one in our life, being the one that everybody else cries on, being the one that everybody else vents on, and we don't have somebody to vent on, we don't have a shoulder to cry on ourselves, then we are just setting ourselves up for burnout. And we need to be mindful of that. If you are perceived in your own social circles as being the one that other people go to for advice, the one that everybody goes to vent on, make sure that you have a way to get rid of that toxic energy that you are building up. One easy way to do this is just in the morning or in the evening, anytime that you feel like you've just got a lot of stuff being held in the septic tank of your heart, and you've got a lot of toxic energy built up in you. Just take a few deep breaths. And this can be a way of clearing energy too. Just breathe in. Say to yourself, I'm breathing in positive energy. And then breathe out. Exhale, completely exhale. And just say, I am breathing out all that negative KRAP. I'm breathing out all that negative energy. I clear and release this negative energy. That can have a good impact on you spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, and help you clear away a lot of that negativity that could be blocking you. If you're letting it build up, it probably is blocking you. It most definitely is blocking you. Get rid of that stuff before it blocks your success. And that's just one way. Simple breathing exercise. Another way, just visualization. Visualize yourself taking a shower and feel all that negativity just dripping off of you, going down into the drain, and just going back into the earth. Let that negative energy flow off of you, drip off of you, go back down into the earth, and be recycled for a better purpose. Really let that negativity become like the manure that fertilizes the roses. And you can do this visually in your mind or physically. When you're physically taking a bath or a shower, add a certain mental quality to it. And just as you're physically bathing, imagine yourself, imagine the dirt coming off your body. Imagine the dirt coming out of you emotionally and energetically. And just imagine all that negative stuff, shedding off of you, being washed from you, cleansed from you, and just going down into the drain, going back down to Mother Earth to be recycled, be reused for a more positive benefit than just blocking you and letting all that stuff get built up into your heart. So yeah, you can visualize this. You can actually just take a physical shower, a physical bath, and then just add that added element to, I'm washing my body. I'm also washing away the negative emotions, the negativity that's blocking me in this life. And an even simpler way to do this, I was watching a Mind Valley talk with Reagan Hillier, and I believe this particular video on Mind Valley on YouTube was entitled 11 Affirmations to Develop a Millionaire Consciousness. And she had one there that deals with this specifically. It's either the fourth or the fifth affirmation, but she says, say this to yourself on a regular basis. I clear and release anything that is stopping me. I clear and release anything that is stopping me. And I mean, it can be that simple, just that simple. Just recognize that negativity is there and just say to yourself, okay, know that it's there, pinpoint it, and then just say, I'm calling the plumber. I'm calling the spiritual plumber. I clear and release all this negative energy, anything that is stopping me, anything that is holding me back. I clear and release it. And I mean, if you feel like you've been soaking up negativity like a sponge, you're not alone. A lot of us live in a toxic environment. A lot of us have friends and family members, maybe spouses, that are just stuck in the same negative environment that we all live in, that we all pretty much take for granted, and they don't know how to deal with it. So, I mean, they just vent on the person that's nearest to them, the person that they feel that they can trust, the person that they feel they can be vulnerable with, and the person that they feel is comfortable being vulnerable with them. And sometimes, people just unload on us, not because they're trying to be jerks, but because they don't know what else to do. And another thing that we can do, another thing that we can try to practice, in addition to clearing and releasing all that negative energy and doing it, at least once a day. I would say do it at night. Get rid of that stuff before you go to sleep. But, do it several times a day if you feel the need to. But what we can do in addition to clearing that energy away is trying to limit our exposure to that negative energy. Now, I'm not saying that we need to put up a wall and say to our loved ones and our friends, I'm tired of your toxic energy. Leave me alone. Sometimes it can feel that way, but there are better, more creative ways to handle it than that. But yeah, sometimes we just build up all that energy that we just feel that we need to explode. And then when we do, we look like crazy people. But a better way to handle that is just pinpoint the toxic energy that you expose yourself to voluntarily, and then focus on how you can remove that toxic energy and replace it with something better. I've known people that love to watch horror movies. I knew a guy, a nice guy, heck of a nice guy. But I mean, he liked to unwind by watching those slasher movies, slasher movies and dead teenager movies. For some reason he was really attracted to those movies, and that's how he would unwind. And I sat with him once watching one of his DVDs in his home, and I thought, man, how can you do this to yourself? But I mean, he said, Ralph, this is how I relax. And I mean, imagine if you're watching negative movies like that all the time in your spare time. You're listening to death metal. I like listening to a little bit of Black Sabbath. I like listening to a little bit of rap, but I also like to listen to positive music, not negative death metal, not negative rap, nothing against those musical genres. It's like, Ronnie James Dio, I think he was the best lead vocalist for Black Sabbath, bar none. And I mean, he's one of my favorite musicians. But I also like to listen to Weird Al Yankovic. My musical tastes are quite varied, but when I'm in a kind of a negative mood, Weird Al can kind of bring me out of that negative mood. And when I'm feeling like I need to be motivated, energized, Ronnie James Dio, Man on the Silver Mountain, something like that, can really get me moving. And of course, I always like to bring in the Beatles. You got to have some Beatles in your life. Got to get a little bit of that Yellow Submarine in there. But man, if you are focusing on all negative energy, and that's your way of entertaining yourself by listening to negative music, watching negative movies, negative cinema, just reading terrible books, listening to sad music when you're depressed, you're just setting yourself up for a lot of negativity that you don't have to have in your life. Make a conscious decision that instead of listening to death metal, I'm going to put on some positive music. Doesn't have to be Mary Poppins. Doesn't have to be Julie Andrews, The Sound of Music. The hills are alive. It doesn't have to be that. It can be whatever you like. You can put on some Darius Rucker. You can put on some, there's sad country music. There's some positive, happy country music. Make sure that you're keeping a balance in your life and don't just be living on a junk food diet of negative, toxic energy. I mean, a lot of us, we try to be picky about the food that we eat. Wouldn't it be neat if we were that picky about the stuff that we put into our brains, the stuff that we allow into our hearts, the energy that we allow to flow into us? And sometimes, when we're around people that are stressed out, loved ones that we don't want to break away from, we can't really say, don't vent on me now, I've got a headache. I guess you could say that. But I mean, you can't block these people out of your life forever. Not if you want to keep them in your life. But there are other things that we can choose to limit in our lives. And if you're just getting a steady diet of toxic energy in the books that you read, in the news that you watch, in the movies that you watch, in the music that you listen to, in just the things that you do for entertainment, try to pinpoint, okay, what's the negative stuff that I'm gladly pouring into my life? And can I make a choice to quit doing that to myself and replacing it with something better? Instead of death metal on an hourly, daily basis, put on some positive music too. Instead of negative rap, listen to some positive stuff. There's positive rap, there's positive country, there's positive rock and roll, easy listening stuff. Make a conscious choice to fill your life with some positivity. And if you find a lot of people on social media that just irritate the heck out of you, a lot of people, they get so energized over this. It's like, you are a bad person. I'm going to get your account suspended. I'm going to get you kicked off this platform. We're going to deplatform you because you're so bad. There's a mute button that you can use. There's a block button that you can use. Sometimes I feel like maybe I use the block button too liberally, but I mean, you've got a choice. People have the right to express themselves on social media. People have a right to say things that I disagree with. I also have a right to just mute that person, to walk away, not listen, block if they're just coming at me with a constant barrage of negativity. And they're a person that, just don't find that valuable in my life. Maybe some random guy or gal out there just spewing venom all over the place. I can just block, just hit that block button. I can mute, hit that mute button. I don't have to subject myself to that venom if I don't want to. Realize that you've got the same conscious choice that you can make. So yeah, really two ways that we can handle negative energy in our lives. One way is to just limit the amount of negative energy you're exposed to. Just realize that, if other people want to engage in gossip, if other people want to engage in spreading negative energy all over the place, that's their right. They can do that. I don't have to participate in that. I can choose not to do that. And people who choose to be like drama queens, drama kings, they're always being overly dramatic about everything, professional victims in almost every aspect of life, rather than being fonts of positivity. Okay, if they want to be beacons of despair and darkness, again, that's their right. Your right is to make a choice. Do I want to expose myself to this, or do I just mute? Do I just block? Do I just walk away from it? And if I'm in a bad mood and somebody that I love and care about is coming to me wanting to vent on me, set up some boundaries. Boundaries can be walls that protect us from time to time. That doesn't have to be a big keep out sign, leave me the heck alone, but it can be a little sign that says do not disturb. I've got a headache. I don't have the patience right now to listen to this. So please just respect my space and let me get over some of the negative stuff that I'm trying to deal with. And then I'll be happy to let you vent on me later. And yeah, we can make those choices to limit the amount of negative energy that we're exposed to. And then, end of the day, definitely end of the day, maybe several times a day, be mindful of all the negative stuff that you've allowed to build up in your life. Flush it away. And if there's a blockage in your system somewhere, mentally clear and release. It can be a ritual that you do. It can be a prayer that you say. God of my understanding, God of my heart, I give to you this negativity, this stuff that's blocking me. I don't know how to deal with it. I put it in your hands. Or it can be just as simple as just reading a daily affirmation once, twice, maybe several times a day. I clear and release anything that is stopping me. Any negative blockage, I clear that, I release it, I let it go. And then once you let it go, make sure that you've let it go. Don't take something and put it in God's hands and then 10 minutes later say, oh, I need that back. Take it back. Some people are like that. A lot of us are like that. A lot of us do that. They say, okay, I give this over to the God of my understanding. You deal with it. And then 10 minutes later, it's like, where'd that thing go? Oh, there it is. I left it in God's hands. Sorry, I need that back. Now, once you let it go, carry on with your life, and be happy, be free. But yeah, make sure that we are clearing away those blockages before they become like toilets in your heart overflowing with you know what. So that's the end of the stream for the day. Thank you very much for dropping by. Let me know in the comments down below if you found value in this. And also let me know, what practices do you do to clear and release negative energy in your life? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, this is Ralph signing out. Thanks for dropping by. Catch you in the next stream. Bye-bye.